cats. Now, I've already seen it, and I thought it was amazing, so I'm sure that you all are going to love it as well. But before we get started, we would like to take a moment to thank you all for being here. Because by being here to see this film, you show that you take an interest in our natural world, which we all share. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and bring out our first animal. Here comes Cody. Cody is a Canadian lynx. Now, in the film, you'll be seeing many different types of African cats, but we thought that we would share one with you that's from right here in North America. Now, as his name suggests, he can definitely be found in Canada, but you could also find him in the northern United States, in places like Wyoming and Minnesota. Now, a couple of really neat things about Cody are that if you look at his feet, they're pretty big, so he's got some pretty large paws. Now that's going to help him when he's running on the snow. It acts like snowshoes so that he can run very, very quickly. In fact, he can run about 30 miles per hour. Now another thing that you might notice as he's taking a little snack there is that on his ears he has little tufts of black hair coming up. Now it's theorized that those tufts are used to help him tell wind direction, and that way if he's hunting, his prey won't be able to tell that he's there before he wants them to know that. All right, well, we'll go ahead and let Cody make his way back. And as he does, if anybody has any questions, you can raise your hand. And we have people walking around with microphones, so they'll hand one to you.
One over here.
Does Cody, did you guys find him in Canada or in the northern United States?
That's a good question. Cody actually came from another zoo. So all of the animals at the Wildlife Learning Center are either from other zoos, but most of them are rescued animals. So we never get our animals directly from the wild. We think that if they're in the wild, they should go ahead and stay in the wild. Any other questions? Right back here.
My question is, I like Cody.
Oh, thank you. I like Cody too. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and bring out Anita. And Anita is an African sulcata tortoise. Now, this type of tortoise is actually the third largest type of tortoise in the world. Right now, Anita is about 25 years old, but she can live for over 100 years. And she weighs about 55 pounds, but the males of her species can get to be over 200 pounds, so they get very, very large. Now, in her 100 years of life, she can actually go that entire time without drinking a single drop of water. Now, that's because she's an herbivore, and so she actually gets all of the water that she needs in the plants that she eats. Now, do you guys think that Anita's pretty cool? She's pretty neat, but the coolest thing about her is that she's a mommy. And this is her baby. This is little Squirt, and Squirt is only a couple of months old, so that's about a 25-year difference right there. Now, Squirt obviously has a lot of growing left to do, and as he gets older, his shell will just grow with him. So they never leave their shell, it just grows as they grow. Now, in the movie, you'll be seeing a very interesting scene where a lion actually tries to get a little sulcata tortoise for a snack, but it just doesn't work because that sulcata has such a thick and protective shell that the lion can't actually get to the tortoise inside. All right, well, we'll go ahead and say goodbye to Anita and Squirt. If anybody has any questions, you can raise your hand while we're waiting for that next animal.
Oh my God, go Jake.
I like Cody. I like Cody.
He's like, I like Cody too.
How much, do you know how many pounds or like Squirt weighs?
Well, Squirt is really, really small, so he weighs way less than even a pound. He's very small right now.
Is Squirt a boy?
Where's the daddy? The daddy is at the Wildlife Learning Center. He is too big for us to carry. He weighs about 150 pounds. So. All right, well, it looks like Sierra is ready to come out and meet us. Now, Sierra here is a red-tailed hawk, which is actually the largest and most common species of hawk that we have right here in the United States. You can even see red-tailed hawks right here in Los Angeles, and maybe even flying around in your own backyard. Now, Sierra is a female. The males would actually be a little bit smaller than her, so that's pretty typical in birds of prey. And in the movie, you'll see a few different types of birds of prey, and they all have a few things in common, especially their very sharp beak and their very sharp talons as well. That way they can catch all of their food. Now, when Sierra is hunting, she's going to be very high up in the sky and looking down at the ground, so she has to have very good eyesight. Her eyesight is actually 8 times better than our own, and when she spots that animal on the ground, she has to get to it pretty quickly so that it doesn't run away. So she can actually dive at speeds of over 100 miles per hour so that she can catch her food. Now, Sierra here was actually found in Long Beach with a severely broken leg, and luckily a veterinarian was able to repair her leg, but it will never function well enough for her to hunt or survive in the wild. So she does have a lifelong home with the Wildlife Learning Center, and she's adjusted to her new home beautifully. She's learned how to trust her trainers, and she'll actually hop up readily onto our glove in the morning when we come to presentations like this one. All right, thank you, Sierra. If anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and raise your hand.
How much does Sierra weigh?
That's a great question. She looks pretty big, doesn't she? But she has hollow bones, and a lot of what you all saw were actually feather, so she only weighs 3 pounds.
Is Sierra full grown?
She is. She's a fully grown female, and the boys would stay about 75% of her size, so they stay a little bit smaller. Do you have any other questions?
Does she have a...
Did you forget? That's okay. All right, well, it looks like our next animal is ready, so we'll go ahead and bring out Slade. Now, Slade is actually one of Africa's lesser-known cat species. We would find them in places like Central and Southern Africa. Now, in the movie, you'll be seeing a lot of cheetahs and lions as well, but keep your eyes peeled because towards the